Alright, Elite Code 3 here, and this video is basically going to be a more in-depth look at the grading process. So a lot of people watch the 500 card orders, which they are kind of tedious, and it does take a lot of prep work to get one of those ready. Of course, if you wanted, you could just send out 500 cards and get grades, but to me, in the business of trading, that's called churning, and that's when you're just kind of forcing things. Um, so the way I go about trying to find 500 candidates is buying from different places. I think obviously buy the most from eBay, and then second would be probably ComC, um, and then is probably PAX. Actually, I would say like junk wax boxes and PAX would be two, and three is ComC. So I put all those cards together and hopefully put together a solid order for you guys to watch. And this video is just going to be like kind of a behind the scenes look of how I sort the cards, how I get them ready and box them, typing them into the system, and then finally sending the package out. I'm actually sending out a 500 card order this week. So the one that came back a couple weeks ago and I shot the video, that one came back, and then I have one I sent the middle of April, and then one going out this week. So I should have two 500 orders out by the end of the week. And so then we can just look forward to those coming back. Don't know when. Could be July, August, but I'm going to shoot the next part. All right, so this is kind of a new little project that I did. And this is, I mean, these grades aren't exact. This is just, in my opinion, of all the cards I've sent in, this is what I think these cards would grade if PSA did slab them. So the 10s are cards that I think are pretty much perfect, but I'm not sure if I'm going to send them in just yet. Put these back a little bit. So, I mean, it's kind of like, they look perfect to me, but, whoops, not when you drop them. But I don't know if I want to send them in just yet. That makes sense. So like a Devers paper rookie. I mean, I don't know if that's something I want to send in right now. Robles, Boba, I mean, when he gets called up, maybe. That's just a Hoskins Bowman Chrome from last year. So it's not like high tier cards. They're just cards that I've kind of looked over, and to me they look like Gen Mint 10 cards. So they could be in potential orders. They're just not at the moment. And then the next stack from here is the 9 plus. So to me, if I sent these into PSA, they would either get a 9 or a 10. So there's like one little flaw that either could take away a 10 from these cards. So for this chipper, I know it's that top left corner. See that white? And it's like, I've seen PSA 10s that have that, and I've seen them without it. So it just kind of depends on the grader's opinion at that time, if that makes sense. This is actually a 10, so this needs to be moved over to the 10 stack. So LA insert, 9 plus, just kind of something I thought of, because it's hard to always say it's a 9 or a 10, because it's the margin between a 9 and a 10 is a lot smaller than people realize. It's really close. And then here's all the 9s. So these are cards that I all think are PSA 9 mint cards, but I just haven't decided to send them in. And, a lot of it is, and I'll put little notes like that top right corner is not perfect. And I'll just kind of keep an eye on these, and I'll flip through if I'm filling out cards for an order and see if I need anything. But a lot of these cards, if I were to slab them, I pay the grading fee, and if they did get a 9, and there's no guarantee, I think the value of them wouldn't be more than the grading fee. So that's probably why they haven't been sent yet. Like this Leafs George Brett's probably worth about $6 or $7 in a 9, and that's what you pay to get it slabbed. This one's a little off the center, right to left. So tons of cards. I'll decide in the future if I want to send any of these in. It's still nice to have a nice stack of cards that I know are in pretty good condition. Maybe not perfect, but mint 9 cards that I can come back to later and use for orders. And then 8, 5, and 8 are, let's just flip through the 8, 5s. So, I mean, these are cards that I feel are, and that just means, it's an 8, 5 or a 9 mint. That's a sweet card. So I kind of have that as an 8, 5 or a 9. So these could be in future orders. So I kind of like to keep this box just to have a little place to go for cards if I'm trying to get an order filled. But I don't want to force cards in orders just to get more cards slabbed. I try to make the process somewhat controlled, because I think if you get too out of hand, you're just going to start sending stuff in to send it in. I don't want to be like that. So let's go on to the next step here. Okay, so here's stacks of cards, just hundreds and hundreds of cards, which I consider slab cans or slab candidates. I just started using that term for these cards. But they are cards, you know, that came through the mail or in boxes, and I took a quick look at them. So they'll go on to my second set of eyes, and then they actually come back to me for the final look over. So these are just tons and tons of cards. Let me move some of these stacks over and we'll flip through some. I'm not going to spend a crazy amount on these, but a lot of these cards will be in future 500 card orders. So they're just, you know, cards that I thought looked clean, looked like potential cards I would want to send off and spend the money on to get slabbed. So this is just, you know, a lot of the stuff I get slabbed actually comes out of boxes that I opened. And it's just a great way to get clean cards. So I probably won't slab this Robbie Alomar, Topps Finest, but it's just kind of in the running. And it's just tons of cards like 94 Flair, Hall of Famers. These just come clean out of the packs, and it's just a great way to get cards that haven't been touched and shipped over the years, and get clean cards that come your way. So I mean, there's just all kinds of cards. I'll try to flip through some more stacks and show you guys, but it just takes a while to get through all these cards. And you know, they're not the most high-end cards, but they're cards that I would consider grading, if that makes sense. Like Kobe rookies, some Beltran Bowmans that looked pretty nice. This set's impossible. So some stuff from comps, yeah, I can just tell, because I was on a offensive lineman run like in March. So broke a box of Bowman 96. There's a Fleer. There's some Brady bases, just tons of stuff in these stacks, and there's probably a ton of PSA 10s sitting in these stacks too. I just have to decipher which ones are or have the potential to be and which ones aren't. So some Matic stuff, I got that in a pack, that Senzel, and this is stuff from home. When I transport stuff from home to the office, if it's like a card I might slab, I put them all in a top loader and tape the top, just to protect the cards. So I got like, I don't know, 7 or 8 cards in these, and then I'll take a look at those later. So just a ton of cards, and then some paper Chris Bryant's that need to be looked over. So I mean, I'll flip through these a little bit more, but I think you guys get the picture of how the process works. And then from here, they either go into a PSA order, or I'm going to start putting them into that box that I showed before. So this is from a 1988 Topps box. So out of the whole box, these are the only cards that I thought were potential candidates. I mean, even when you open a freshly sealed box, there's no guarantee that the cards are going to come out great. I mean, they came out off-center and dinged, and these are just like the best of the best. So I had a lot of luck with this 93 Ultra Series 2 box, and I'll put little notes on the cards, like this one looks off-centered right to left, and this mark means that top left corner looks a little suspect. Same with that Bonds card. So it's just kind of the whole process of how I go about it. And then also with these sets, I'll like, you know, sometimes the centering can be kind of vague. Like it's kind of hard to tell the centering on cards. I'll just go online and pull up a PSA 10 from that set, and then compare the raw copies I have to the actual slabbed ones. So as you can see, I'm into like Hall of Fame junk wax base. I just had a lot of luck slabbing it, and it actually sells pretty well in the store. And of course, I'd like to keep some for the PC if it's a player that I collect. So breaking these junk wax boxes is just a ton of fun. So you guys get the picture with how I'm doing this. And I mean, there's a lot of low-end stuff in here. So it's not all about the hits and the autos and the numbered stuff to 5. I mean, this is where I kind of get my kicks, is doing this stuff. And I've kind of evolved to this. I still like, you know, expensive cards, but there's a lot of fun to be had with cards like this too, and you don't have to break the bank on them either. So next part, we're going to take a look at the wall of wax. All right, so this is the wall of wax. So this is just a bunch of junk wax. There is some modern stuff mixed in. This is where I kind of pull boxes and break them on camera. Sometimes I break a lot of these off camera too. I don't break them all on camera. This is where I pull a lot of my candidates from, is these boxes. So I've got some modern stuff here. There's some blasters. I just don't like buying the expensive products for baseball. I mean, I'll buy Topps Update and Topps and stuff, but I'm not into like the Tribute and $250 boxes. It just doesn't do it for me. So this is kind of where I pull from. And then let's go to the actual order, which has been being prepped right now. Okay, so in this 3-row box, in the first 2 rows, there are 491 cards. So I'm really close to getting this order filled and sent off. Of course, I have to package it and prep it. But let's just flip through some of these cards and take a look at what I'm sending off. So this is kind of, these cards have all been typed into the spreadsheet on the PSA website. So they're ready from that standpoint. And it's just a bunch of, somewhat similar to past orders, but of course it always varies a little bit. This is all stuff that went through the assembly line and was deemed gradable. So there's some Frankie Lindor Bowman drafts. That's paper. A couple Pete Rose from his second year. Bonds mother load. And something with these cards is a lot of people that watch the mail bins, you guys have seen these cards come in, and then a lot of these are from packs and stuff. So I don't use the same process with cards that are higher valued. Like I don't, it sounds kind of bad, but I don't look at them as closely. Like this Maddox Hot Gloves, it looked nice to me. I didn't put it through all the not strict, but all the steps of getting into an order than I would with a normal card. Just because, higher valued cards, I'll send them off without taking the as many steps. I'm just rambling now. But you guys get the gist of this order. So this is supposed to be here. And then, see that Bowman Pujols? It'd be nice if they were together, but they're just typed in twice in the spreadsheet. And I don't really think PSA cares. But, so there's a ton of baseball. That's kind of what has been dominating right now. I will just flip through all these. You guys can take a look at what's going to be slabbed in the future. That's actually an SP. I got it from a pack. It's really hot in this office. Almost uncomfortable. So tons of cool stuff. A lot of low end. There's some higher end stuff too, of course. We're just flipping through fast though. That's a cool one. Piazza. Caught in the draft Woodson. That was from a pack. So that was actually from a pack that I filmed too. Some Bowman Mosses, of course. Gotta have those, right? Moss scores. Moss. There's a lot of... you guys see the videos and see all the Mosses that come in. Eventually they do get slabbed, so... There's a Sano. His stuff's falling off a cliff. But his weight's jumping. Some Kareem Hunts. Kingery, I got that in a pack. There's a Pete Rose card. Just a bunch of stuff going out with this order. Some Bonds, Donruss 86. This set seems pretty easy, honestly. Breeze Topses. Fred Taylor Chromes. That's a Correa Topps update. That Tony Gwynn's off-centered, as you can see, but I was just hoping for like an 8. That was from a pack, I believe. Some Robles. That's a Topps Chrome Pujols. Garoppolo. So I'm pretty excited about this order. I think it's going to be a pretty good one. My last order was solid, and I'd hope to have similar results. A lot of these sets aren't the easiest sets, though. Some of them are often very challenging. So I try to do my best on those sets and send in the best examples, that I come across. But, I mean, some of these sets I'm not going to get a 10 on them. And that's just the nature of the beast here. But, so there's like higher end stuff mixed in here, like this Woodson and Peterson. There's a Brady. There's some Vlad Bowman rookies. So, lots of neat stuff, in my opinion, in this one. Pedro's gotta have the Hall of Fame base, right? And the last stack from this first row, and then I'll cut the camera and put the cards back and do the second row. There's a Yachty Molina Bowman rookie. I just got that in last week, and that went right into the order. So cards, sometimes they'll come in, I'll open them that day and just put them right into an order. All right, now from the second row. Okay, second row of cards here. That's actually I think that's worth a little more than $99. It's like $120. I just kind of snuck that in there. There's a Trout, some more Jeters, Topps Update, Correas, Bonds. Some of you guys get the gist. That kind of snuck in there. Jesus Sanchez, he's raking for high A Tampa Bay, I think. And I don't know, that card I just wanted to send it. I just felt like it. Hunter Green, we got some Shohei Bowmans. Those are just out of hobby boxes. Some 88 Fleer. Barry Sanders cards, Amor Moss score, and Biggio Donruss's. That was from a pack. That Diamond Kings looks like a gem mint. That was from a pack too. So that I bet 20 to 30% of these cards are from packs, which is pretty cool. I like that card. Got a Bowman LeBron, some more Breeze Topses, some Orlando Paces. Tom Brady Ultra snuck in. The expectations aren't very high in that one. That's kind of one that comes in the mail. It's a $70 card, and I'm not as strict on it. I kind of more about getting it slabbed. It's not that I'm going to send in like a junker card. That's a neat card. It's just, and that card kind of snuck in there. That's a sweet spot, Peterson. Some more higher end card just kind of happened to fall in place here. This was a Beckett 9.5 I snapped, so I'm hoping for a PSA 10 on that Cam Newton card. Senzo, that's a cool second year Hoffman with the Marlins. Nick Senzel, that's from 2017. I got that in a pack the other day. Some Bowman 93 Mannies. This set's really tough, but I'm a huge Manny collector. Some Frank Thomas, just junk wax base cards. Donnie Baseball Fleer. I actually sold one of those in my store, a PSA 10 of this card for like $17 the other day. So this Hall of Fame base stuff, a lot of people think it's junk, but when you get it slabbed out in 10 form, and you get a guy that is putting together the registry, the cards are a lot more valuable. There's a LeBron rookie, a Kamara, so there's some more higher end stuff mixed in here. That's a legacy Griffey. So I'm pretty happy with the stuff that I'm putting into this order. I think it's been looked over pretty well, so I think the grades should be pretty solid on it. There's always going to be disappointments. You're not always going to get all 10s, and unless you're Michael. But for us other collectors, we got to be more realistic with our grades. So this is a gold refractor Peterson to 50, and that's like a card right on the borderline. There's a Vic, so there hasn't been many Vics in this. I love that card. That's so cool. 92 Topps. It's like a 25-cent card, but it's so cool. So we're about done here. I'm just flipping through these fast. We don't need to spend an hour because we're going to spend a couple hours talking about the cards when they get slabbed and come back. That was just in a mail bin last week, I think. That's a gold refractor one. That was from a company. I don't even know the name of it, but it was a PSA or a gem mint card from their standards, and I took it out and it looked pretty damn good, so I snapped it out. It was like $6 shipped, so I think that's going to be a 9 or a 10. Some Arenados. Taveras, the prospect for Texas. That's a sweet second year Hank that is going to sneak into this one. Couple badass cards right here. Trout Finest and Jeter Hot Gloves 97, mixed in with some Topps Pro Debut. Love that stuff. Here's an Ozzie Albies from his 2015, which is to me his rookie year, and also 2018. Some LeBrons for the registry. These were just from packs. Broke a box of this. I got it for like $6, and I got a couple Jordans and a Magic, and they both look gem. So, bunch of junk wax Hall of Famers. Now, Donnie Baseball isn't a Hall of Famer, but he's got a huge following. I tend to sell his cards pretty well. That's a cool Piazza. So, getting kind of to the very end of it, and there's some cards I got in like last week. These Bowman Chromes, Pache. These Bowman Trendings are lame, but it's Vlad Guerrero Jr. Arenado, and then this card I'm probably gonna take it out because it's just a little too valuable, I think, to sneak in. This was a Beckett 9 that I snapped, and then this Fournette's gonna stay. That's the purple patch. So that's all the cards for this order. I am gonna add 9 more to get to 500, and then I'll film myself packaging them or something for the next part. All right. So the next step in the process is putting cardboard around 20, 25 cards or so. I usually stick with about 25, so this is kind of how I do it. And this isn't how I'll ship them. I'll put them into this large flat rate box. That'll be the last step here. But see how this one just says 1? That just means per the spreadsheet of how I typed in the cards, this is like the first 25 cards or so that are on the spreadsheet. So it kind of puts them in order for PSA. I think a lot of people do it this way. The cardboard and the painter's tape just keeps them secured. Just another layer of protection, because when your cards go out, I mean, you don't know who's going to be handling them and throwing the box around, etc. So I'll just kind of I've got this stack right here left of cards that still need to be protected. So it looks like I got about 40 cards left, so I'll just pick about 20, and I'll show you guys how I tape them up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think I've done a video on this in the past. So that's about 20, and then I just basically, this is kind of how I ship cards out that I sell to. I just kind of get the cardboard and cut it out to match the size of the top loader. And card savers are something you can also use if you prefer those. For a while I was using those, and then I just went to top loaders and I taped the top of all the top loaders, and PSA doesn't really complain about it, and I just think it offers the best protection during shipment. So, but I mean, you guys can use whatever you want to use on this process of it. So you got your cardboard protecting your stack of cards. Grab your painter's tape and just kind of tear off a piece that's big enough. Then just put it on like that. Hold them tight, press down like this, so you just get the cards secured in there properly. Like that. And this is just kind of it's not tedious, it just takes a while to do, you know, all of these. So the one before it was 19, so this will be 20. And then the last stack will be 21. So there's 21 of these little stacks of cards that are taped up, and those will all go into the flat rate box. I'll film how I pack them. I mean, if you guys want to see something like that, but I'm gonna head over to the spreadsheet just to take a look at that real quick. Bye. So basically right here we have all the details of this order. So it is the type regular. I'll just click back to the first step, and this is kind of how you go through the spreadsheet. Regular just means, I guess, you know, it's not like T3 packs or tickets. They're just like the standard sports card. And that can also include like tall boys and minis. But submission type is grading. There's a bunch of different options you can use. I always just do this top one. This is kind of like the classic PSA option where you don't have the autos graded and stuff. So I just do that next. And then you can select your service level. And for something like this, obviously you want to get the best deal, so you click on the bulk one. So $99 is the max value that you can say. You know, like, don't ship $300, $400 cards in orders like this. Could you get away with it? Probably. I mean, I don't know, but it's best to just try to follow the rules as best you can. I mean, you can throw in a $120 card here and there. I don't think that's too big a deal. And then this is all the cards in the spreadsheet. So oh, there they are. For a second my heart jumped. I thought I lost all my cards. Okay, there they are. They had to pop up because there's so many of them. That's a lot of work. So basically I typed these all in. So there's 500 cards here. And this is all the cards that are in the box that you saw that that I taped up with the painter's tape. They're all matched up in order. This makes it as pain-free on PSA as possible. So when you get past this step, go to the very bottom, just click next. This is kind of like the final process before you ship them off. Alright, so after you got everything packed in, this is a large flat rate box. I'm going to have to tape over the old label. So what I always do is, the last thing, always remember to put in your packing slip and sign this last page. It says that sometimes won't process without the signature. So I just throw it in there, and then make sure you got a secure shipping. Just make sure the cards aren't moving at all. You don't want anything to shift during shipment. So pack it in tight there, and that'll ensure a safe delivery to PSA. Okay, when the last step is done, you have your shipping label on there, right there. We got some glare there. And I always stamp fragile on the box just to ensure a little bit safer shipment, possibly. Bring it to the post office, hand it to the mail lady, and you're done, and then wait about 3 months. So that's the process.